Alright, you're going to get all the noises and everything. I'll put the music, and I'm still making my coffee, so hopefully we will all gather soon. So here is the music. Safi is here. Maybe I should let you watch Safi. Where's the Safi? Girl, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Do you want to try? Yes, I can hear you. I cannot see you. Where are you? Oh, yes, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Who has a great Saturday today so far? Oh my goodness. I have a furry Saturday. Oh my god. Oh my god. I touched your foot. I touched your foot. Uh-huh. Pretty girl. Yes. Oops, what did we do? What happened here? What happened? Did you press? What did you press? Which one is that? This one. This one. Ooh. morning, everybody. Good Saturday morning, creative gurus with us, Millie, Barbie, Knitting Yogi. So nice to see you, Angelfish. Let's put this a little down. Except you cannot see from your furry butt. I cannot see from your furry butt. She is definitely checking all of the engines. Is everything working properly, right, Sappy girl? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful little kind of like face. Hi, Kelsey. Hey, good morning. Oh my goodness, do you know what happened with Saturday reading? I just finished the monthly reading and then I realized it didn't record. So I said, that's it, I better go to live. I don't know what's going on this month, just like my monthlies are off, I can as well skip them. But, you know, I just took a picture of it and I said, okay, I'll just narrate it later and just to see how it goes. So, oh, I didn't get my little kind of thingies, my helpers. This and this. Aries still has birthday, so we will start with Aries', you guys, and we'll see what we have over there. Hello, Chris. You're early today, and so am I. We are kind of like in sync. Everything is working out like I guess the universe wanted us to do. So, shall we start? Shall we start going in a direction? Let's see. Do we have all some major messages? What are the messages, angels, for all of us who are already here? So, abundance. Oh my goodness. Do you guys have a lottery on Saturday in your countries? Maybe this is what it is. Just like, I mean, my first go-to. But abundance can be so much more, like eating like nutritious food, kind of like having quality exchanges, relationships, and so on and so forth. So, we are going to start. Oh, there is something else that also jumped. I didn't notice. Oh, this is a blanky one. And that means you guys quickly grab the pen and piece of the paper, and this is repeating. Oh, why? I am not going to go one more time because you're going to start. You can write your own thing. What is it you wish? If you don't wish it, it's just going to go pff. So as well, you can kind of like wish for something really, really productive. So my dear Aries, let's start with you. Happy birthday, and it's going awesome. And don't you ever like Aries season? At least if you're like in the northern hemisphere, it's one of those things where you always feel like hey, you know what, like, I mean, I can keep on going. And I have to say, we here in Canada now, we are envious of our friends in the US. We have rampant cases of COVID because of complete inadequacy of our Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, who is the biggest doofus that you can find. Okay, maybe not the biggest, but he is in the top 10. So we have, I think, 9,000 cases, like just today, the news. So staying at home is pretty much going to be what we need to do just to stay away from it. I'm waiting for my J&J vaccination because I feel this one is the safest of all, and that's going to be just delivered end of April, and who knows when I'm going to get an appointment. So let's start. Aries, this is you. You're getting Knight of Wands, or that could be even Sagittarius. There is like some kind of like motion of some sort. There is some kind of excitement. You're kind of like drumming up the fire. I think you're really tired of status quo. And by the way, guys, did you get your own coffees? I really hope you're joining me. My coffee is here, and let me not spill it all over the table, right? But I'm joining you with my Americano decaf. Did I have a lovely Easter? Let me just finish this and then I'm going to tell you. And then I also have a Three of Swords. It's weird. I wanted to place it this way. And then you have a Page of Pentacles. Yes, I did, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. So Three of Swords is this is, I hate this card in this deck, and I love this deck. It's becoming quickly one of my favorite decks. Check this out. It's almost like drinking something that has happened, and it almost like tells me that you're leaving this behind. There was like something that you felt, it was a hurt, it was some cloud over, it was like some kind of like discrepancy of some sort, and there is like a time of kind of like in place for everything. This can also talk about a third party situation, which could mean that it exists or it existed, but just like, you know, sometimes things get legs even though when they're not really present. And like, this is really telling you you are really moving forward. Initially you make a really swift move, and then you're kind of like slowing it down. Page of Pentacles is kind of like, okay, let's check it out, let's study this, let's see what we can get out of it. So it's kind of like maybe kind of like tensed in the beginning of the week, but it's clearly ending up in a really, really good way. So that's really good. So let me go Easter. I'm trying to remember what was the Easter. Oh yes, I have a neighbor who lives in my building who who is a master narcissist, and she posted a video of herself dancing a pole. So she installed a pole in the apartment. It looks like she removed all the furniture. She is about 150 pounds overweight, and honestly it just like spread like wildfire. Like where I live, it's kind of weird. It's the river, one of the Humber rivers that we have in Toronto, and then we have a little mountains. It's almost like an enclave, and we call it like, I mean, a Bloor West Village over here as a result, even though it's really right there, like, I mean, the heart of the town. And so everybody knows everybody kind of a thing, and this kind of like spread like wildfire. So that kind of like was my Easter. Other than that, really nothing really special. So let me see. Kylie, vaccine rolling out here in Oz, face masks until the 15th, and social distancing. We have again stay-at-home order. We have an idiot at helm who is thinking that everything is marketing, and as you know, I come from the marketing background. I think it's really important. But when you don't listen to the voice of reason, and when everything is like, oh, is it red, or is it orange, is it green, or is it gray? Oh, now I don't want to shock my friends. I'm not going to call gray, which is a shutdown, basically. I'm going to call emergency brake. It's honestly, it got to the point that like people right into his face, and he even got the vaccine, and he pretended AstraZeneca, I guess he got, because they're going really wrongly with vaccines in Canada. They're going with age, so they're going down. I think they started with 80 up, then 70 up. Meanwhile, all these like essential workers and frontline workers are not getting vaccinated, and they're spreading. Even the people who have been vaccinating others are getting disease. So it really, really sucks, right, when you kind of like really look at that way. So I had a ticket, Powerball winner, there we go. Oh my gosh, somebody is kind of like over there doing well. And so who is next one? Hey Sally, nice to see you. Nice to see you, ladies. So who is next? What happened here? Of course, I smudged my entry here. Barbie, you and I have to get on the phone and try to figure out these things. Honestly, I don't know like where this month is gone. It's just like busy, and yet I just like don't feel I have enough hours in a day for some reason, and yet I feel I should be doing much more than I'm doing. So we'll see. Pisces, you are next. So let's see what happens with Pisces. Let's put sticker here. All right, we go first and the last. Maybe that's what we should kind of like be doing this time around. mask and social distancing you having in Maine, right? Even though I have had both vaccines. Yes, because it doesn't last forever, apparently, and you cannot even determine how long it lasts. It can be up to 6 months, but it takes a month to get, even make it kind of like work. And now they're telling us double masks. Like, I mean, how many cases we have. I'm actually kind of lucky in the area where I live. It's a very low amount of cases, very, very low. It's one of the lowest in Toronto. And I also just don't visit people inside and just like meet people outside with dogs. So hopefully it's going to continue being okay. You guys have 10 of Pentacles, and what a lovely card this is, that everything is like falling in place. You were like maybe spending time with family. This one wants to come out. You have the Hermit. Okay, that makes sense. And 9 of Wands. It totally makes sense. So it's Pisces. You know how we have the fish kind of like flying in two different kind of like directions? So oh, by the way, if you want to see this like dance polling video, I can show you. I mean, I just don't want to embarrass her any further, but let me know. So, you know, fish goes in kind of like two directions. So this is it. I just like, you're exuberant. You'll be spending lots of time with lots of people, but then you go, okay, now I'm tired of everything. I need to be left on my own. It's kind of like weird. It almost looks like that the weekend is going to be full of activities, and then you're going to get, and I'm getting some warnings here from YouTube that is not enough video for some reason, so I really hope it's not going to slow you down. So the Hermit is kind of like a situation where you need to find the answers inside. Maybe you are getting a guidance from your family members, or somebody's pushing certain things to go in a certain direction, and you're kind of like feeling that you really want to figure it out on your own. It's really interesting that we see like this beaming kind of like thing, and then you're kind of like putting things in action. To some extent, you're going to be feeling that you're doing things over and over and over again, and that can kind of like be a slight kind of like irritation that I can see here. But otherwise, I really think this is kind of like full kind of like steam ahead over here, and it's kind of really important. And Safi is going to join us again. Yes, I was just talking about you. Did I not talk about you, right? So, hey, so, okay, so this is Pisces, and let me just see. Oh, Lynn, you're getting you guys are getting so much better than we are, because we have a bloody mess. Everybody wants to be powerful. Everybody wants to kind of like be a hero, and nobody's doing the right thing. Like, we have vaccines sitting in the fridges. Mind you, I'm not going to go for Pfizer or Moderna. This is just me. I'm not saying you not to do it. It's just like, I have allergies, right? As you know, I also had asthma, so I'm compromised. My immune system is compromised. So I wanted to get AstraZeneca, which I actually can get right now, but I'm really afraid for these blood clots and just don't want to kind of like test it. So I was hoping Johnson & Johnson is not going to have it, but now this morning I was reading, they're investigating if it has the same thing. Moderna and Pfizer have this like new methodology, which is called messenger RNA, which I was just reading in the Wired yesterday about. And that methodology was developed 30-40 years ago, but they couldn't apply it because it was killing the host, and they had to cut any kind of like studies and everything. But then they found how to send a signal to molecule and kind of like fool the molecule into thinking, okay, I don't have to kill the host about it. But that's what's freaking me out, because my body is just can say, oh no, let's go for the original messages, let's go behind it, and just decide to kill me. Otherwise, if your body is able to kind of like understand these new messages, then it's really good. But I'm really afraid of any possible future issues that can kind of like cause, right? I'm doing the Moderna. Well, that's supposed to be the best, Moderna and Pfizer, and I'm just really, really wary of that. The reason why I'm choosing Johnson & Johnson is because it's the least effective. It's only 60% effective, but apparently it's good enough to protect you from hospitalization and death. And that's pretty much what I'm looking for, right? So you guys didn't have any effects, anything kind of like happening, because Moderna and Pfizer are supposed to be the gold standard. So Aries, we did your reading. You are telling me something. Okay, Aries, we need to pull one more card for you, and it's the moon. So this is about dreams, and this is about some kind of aspirations, and it could also be about jealousy that something is happening. So the next one, we have Sagittarius, right? Oh, Lynn, I wish that I know what is the best for me. This is the entire problem here, because I actually don't, right? I can look in the cards in this. The best for me is currently not dying, right, from anything. So getting a vaccine is the best for me. Just which one, that's kind of like hard. Hello, Kathy, nice to see you. We are not exempt, Kylie, at all from wearing masks. And I mean, we can just say, technically, yes, we can say I'm autoimmune compromised and I don't want to wear the mask, but then you're exposing yourself to the virus, right? So what is happening here, Sagittarius? Any Sagittarius over here? Yes, we have Kylie. What's going on? Five of Pentacles. There is a key of a sword. There is a door, but you're not opening the door. What is behind this door that you feel you don't really want to go there, that is much better to be here, which is kind of like locked down in your own universe, in your own kind of like a thing. It's being fully in your own thoughts. Like this is, look at that, that's the theme of the freaking week. There's like something really odd that is really happening. I really think, and I really like her little tattoo. It almost looks like a Libra, kind of like a thing over here, debating over something. You're reaching some kind of decision, and you're feeling that no decision is a good decision. Pretty much like just like my talk about vaccine, that nothing is really kind of like perfect to kind of like you feel in comfort. But I like actually 10 of Swords over here. Like it's the first deck that I don't see somebody dead or swords being pierced through the body. Instead, these ravens over here, which are really, really smart birds, are actually showing her the way. So maybe you're going to be tapping in the dark, or struggling or debating some kind of decision that you need to do, and that decision could be connected with your goals, with how do you forge ahead, and what kind of like methodology you kind of like use, because 5 is always talking about rules and what is important to us and how do we establish our boundaries, where 2 is talking about harmony and cooperation, but it also can talk about the discord and kind of like being kind of like pushed in all directions. So 10 of Swords means that maybe ultimately you're going to find that something has to stop and that you have to move away from some situations. Sometimes we do that in order to see the situation better. And it was really interesting reading for you, Sagittarius. I just finished a monthly reading for you, and that monthly reading didn't go anywhere because I didn't record it. And it kept telling me, you're streaming. Well, where am I streaming? Because I'm not connected to the streaming. So I don't know if you guys were seeing or hearing anything on this end, but this is kind of like what has been happening in my world. And it was pretty similar. That monthly reading was, I don't know, did I take a screenshot? I did, because I don't like to repeat the readings, kind of a thing. It is what it is. And here it is. This is kind of like what you had. You started the month with the devil in the middle, right? And also kind of like crossed lovers, really interesting. And it was this debate, kind of like, look, it was similar. You had the 3 of Swords over here showing up. So it kind of like showed me as possibility of a third party, or kind of like some lure of a sword. And here it also tells me that you're really debating about the direction in which one you really want to kind of like take. So it's going to be really interesting to hear from you, Sagittarius, at the end of this week, because we do have another live, of course, on Saturday, and then the Saturday after that is my dad's birthday. And I'm not supposed to go because we have a lockdown and stay at home, but I will go because I actually haven't seen him in a while because of these lockdowns and because of his behavior. So, but it is time to visit him. So the next one is Virgo. Virgo. So let me just put here the stamp and get your thingy here. Virgo. Tiger is walking out with his activity planner. So we'll see. Kylie, I have a little tattoo. Yes, feeling frustrated this week. Asserting boundaries with a water sign. I know it, and anti-maskers throwing their crap at me. We're wearing a mask. Oh my God, choosing to let it. Yeah, that's kind of like, I think it's going to be a week of that. Trying to reach a decision, and whenever you reach it, it feels like it's eluding you. One of those crappy things. And your cards just came through. Oh my gosh, look at this Hierophant. It's like this stairwell to heaven over here. Oh my gosh, that Zeppelin basically song just came through. You have a King of Wands and you have the Empress. This is actually amazing. This Virgo, are you any Virgo here? Is there some kind of commitment that is really happening over here? This is about almost like the creation of the universe. I don't know if you can see it here. Like it's a little icons showing all the religions, Buddhism, Christianity over here, and simply saying everything leads to the same goal, to the same. Yes, Avi? Do you love me? No, not too much? Why? I didn't let you eat plastic bags this morning? Huh? Do you want to eat bugs? She loves that word. Whenever I say it, like without plural, she shows up in the living room. So guys, check this out. It's Gaia, of course, that is showing Gaia, not so much the Empress as her own kind of pregnant self. It's really interesting that we have the moon, we're having the phases over here, right? Steph is, yeah, clearly talking about something. So you guys might have a few things happening here. You might have Taurus, you might have Libra. Clearly Venus is very, very emphasized over here. So beauty or feeling beautiful or kind of like some sense of beauty is going to be very, very important to you. Somebody will clearly notice you. King of Wands is like a doer and shaker, and kind of like he's also extremely generous about the situation. So it can kind of like talk about there's some project that is kind of like moving forward. There's like somebody who can show up as a love interest, or if there is a love interest, maybe you're getting pregnant, or maybe there is a decision about going to the next step. This is extremely rich reading. Like that's possibly the best word I can use for that over here. Thanks, Barbie. Awesome. Look at the little unicorn. I had I don't know if you guys, I told you, kind of like I play one card game. It's called Bella. It's very European kind of a thing. It's played with a deck of 32 and you have to memorize. It's kind of like a baby sister of Bridge, I would say, not as complex. But it was the guy that I ended up in a game who was called Unicorn. He called himself Unicorn, his moniker. That guy didn't stop swearing all this time. It was actually really hilarious. It's just almost seeing a baby picture and hearing profanities, right? All right. Ooh, coffee. I put too much cream over there. Last week I didn't have a good diet. It was like off the rails kind of a thing, but I am getting better. Finally, as of yesterday. Gemini, I'm back on track. So Gemini, let's put the stamp over here. Do you have it? Poor Barbie. Do you know, like, Barbie's trying to put the stamps and the YouTube is not letting her, so that's why I kind of like posted. Oh, I don't know what's happening with YouTube. I might actually switch to TikTok and kind of like have hopefully a little bit more luck that way, because right now it's just like every week is something happening from YouTube that is surprising. Oh, you need to file the taxes. Well, I'm a Canadian citizen, not American citizen. I don't file American taxes, and it's still the message keeps coming there, right? And here is the wheel, guys, and this is kind of like this ultimate kind of like luck is currently turning in your direction. There is like some, this one also wants to go, and this one wants to come. Then you have a high priestess and you have temperance. Oh my goodness, you guys have 3 majors, so you know the basis, right? Majors are generally not optional. This is like a boss coming to your office and saying, hey, what do you think we do this report on this? You say, no, I don't think so. No, you don't say that when you have the majors. You say, yes, boss, kind of a thing, right? So this is a karma card, which is really interesting, right? So 5, 7, 17 altogether is also adding to the star card, to some kind of like hope. It's going to be really interesting. There is a level of introversion. You might be consulting me for a reading because the high priestess is telling me that you're getting some kind of like subliminal or subconscious messages. It could be that you have interesting dreams. Oh my God, I had a dream that somebody was killed right in front of me and by the cops, and I knew this person was completely innocent, and it was just horrible dream. And then I Google it, it's like very, very small amount of people dream somebody being murdered. But this is kind of like one of those moments when you take a break, when you take a pause, where you're really thinking about it, except in your case, it's going to be very atypical from your regular behavior. You're going to kind of like pull aside, you're going to be a little bit on your own. You kind of like want to process things, which is interesting. You have a fire, and you have a water, and you have a moon over here, right? So what is basically happening over here is perspective. You might also have a paradigm shift. And then interestingly enough, the temperance shows up, which is the opposite side of basically your sign, because this really shows Sagittarius over here, right? And temperance is, look at this, like it's the sun and earth, kind of like putting things together, kind of like creating a new universe. Maybe you have tried to accomplish something and there were not enough, I guess, conditions, or people were not willing, or you just really didn't know how, right? Or it just like felt impossible. Now that impossible is going to be possible. It's one of those exceptions when we see the temperance, right? Because generally is, they say to you, yeah, keep repeating the same thing over and over. Well, that's the definition of insanity. But here it means actually it may happen. So it's going to be extremely powerful week for you. Kind of like, I would really buckle up. I would say majority of the week you are going to be reaping some kind of benefits, but also kind of like, I don't think you have enough people to share it with, or you maybe don't want to share something that's so happy because people around you aren't oops, you scared me. People around you aren't happy, and you kind of like don't want to rub it in. Now you're putting your like furry butt in everybody's face. You like Geminis? How much? How much? You want to pick the next sign? Huh, Safi? Here, let me give you the bundle. Here, Safi, come on, pick the next one. Pick. Come on, here. Okay, pick which one? Safi, you want to pick one? Generally she picks one, and today it's like, I don't care. I just couldn't care less, kind of a thing. So, Charter, hello, nice to see you. And having a sun in Aqua 14 degree, which means like you are extra Saturn on my sun in Aqua 14 degree, which is mean playfulness, but Saturn is kind of like guarding you, kind of like you're under watchful eye, how much you kind of like do stuff. Just my interpretation, right? So, well, you know, I was really working so much on these slides, and then it ended up like, am I still actually not done with my monthly? So go figure. Cancer, you are next. Let's see what we have. There's Safi. She's creating trouble again, and I guess very soon she's going to be back into plastic bags. Do you guys have plastic bags where you're from? Like, I mean, we still have these plastic bags, and we are still polluting this freaking planet. And I think that's because we still have to travel quite a bit to our stores, and it's not easy to carry it in the paper ones. But so she likes this crinkly kind of like plastic kind of thing, and then she drags them out. She eats them. And I'm trying to tell her that veterinarian is not in the budget, but she's not listening. So, ooh, Cancer, you're getting Page of Cups reversed, and then Knight of Pentacles. Somebody is putting you in a friend zone, or you're putting somebody in a friend zone over here. There is like clearly, look at that. Somebody is kind of like jumping and having like this, all these dreams and emotions, but there's like something that, or maybe this simply means that realization, like maybe you hope for somebody. Okay, I'm trying to put all of these thoughts that I have in the words, and then 5 sentences at the same time kind of like doesn't really come out properly, right? So this is really talking about feeling a letdown, or feeling, it's almost like the same card, except here is a negative and here's a positive, right? So interpretation would be that something that maybe you don't think is going anywhere, and you're deciding, okay, you know what, let's make the best out of it, let's kind of like continue, and maybe just simply accepting quote unquote defeat. But just so it turns out, it's not a defeat after all. Maybe you're friend zoning somebody because you didn't feel they have enough attraction toward you, so you're kind of like holding it down, while they are kind of like getting this kind of like idea, hey, you know, did I already 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh, okay, after this we are getting messages, while they're feeling you friend zone them. So it's kind of like really interesting, because it's clearly telling me there is somebody in your life with whom you actually have a relatively good rapport when it comes to emotions, and this kind of like, do you feel more than this smidge more, and quite a bit of the smidge more. It's going to be interesting. But then you're landing on Ace of Cups, so there is this expression, there is a spark. This could be a completely different person. It could be like you kind of like dealing with one person, and it could be simply kind of like read this way, or it could be read like one person, something didn't happen and then it's happening. It could be reading this way, then you know there's like a separate person and a different person with whom the friendship is moving into something else, or it could be read this way. You see how tarot can be like layered in complexes, where you kind of like will really rely upon friendship, of some kind of like support system in your life, and on top of everything, maybe even though something closed that you really maybe didn't want to have it done with, then something new is opening and starting all over again. So that's kind of like what is important over here. So, oh, you have plastic in UK. The plastic is absolutely awful. I mean, Canadians, we are generally good about putting things in trash. We have these green beans, we have gray beans, we have black beans, blue beans, green beans, black beans. So black is garbage, and it's supposed to be the least of the stuff in there, except lots of recyclable stuff such as plastic bowls actually go there. And then we have green, which is just simply produce and kind of like organic matter, and blue, which is kind of like some recyclable stuff. And we are generally kind of like trying to follow it, but still you go somewhere, I don't know, even where I walk Tiger, which is kind of like a park off the kilter, and you can still find the people come with garbage because there are no garbage bins around, because it's not quote unquote official park, and they just dump their coffee mugs and stuff. And then few of us that walk dogs, I mean a few times a year, we grab plastic bags and collect this garbage to trash it, kind of like it's really ridiculous. So Nadine Yoga said, in my city we outlawed them, but they came back because reusable bags got allowed. What? Reusable bags got allowed? You're kidding me. I choose paper or boxes. We don't have paper. And most stores don't even have boxes, especially now in pandemic. Kind of like any kind of sharing is discouraged. Charter all over packaging made of plastic. I cannot. You know, like what I hate the most, when you go and all this packaging, and like even cereal, you get this much inside, but the box is like freaking huge, right? and then you have to trash it. It's just like the whole process of marketing is like to make it bigger and better. And I think this is kind of like where we took the wrong turn. All right, guys, we need to listen to Barbie. She said to send a message to everybody, so we are going to do this. So 2 bins, green recycle bins, blue bins, and trash. Okay, so you have the same thing we are having, but here you can actually be fined. I don't know how it is where you guys are from. You can actually get fined if they find something. So on top of that, we have our shredders, and so good luck finding me. How would you know if this is it? So knitting yogi, you have been first, and you're getting a couple of messages. You're getting delight and gratitude. Are you meeting with some kind of like friends or something? It looks like there's some possible celebration, even birthday celebration. It's going to be something that is going to tantalize you. And gratitude sounds like you'll be meditating and kind of like feeling okay about things, and altogether kind of good things. Then Millie, are you still with us from California? You are up early. Chris is over there in your huge vicinity. And then trust, there is like a unicorny over here. So you need to trust the miracles. You need to trust that something is going to be really special. Something is really special. So you open up this week to all of it. Let's see, I'm next. I want to see what is up for me. Efficiency, Cat. Finish the freaking monthlies, because the moment when I finish them, I can as well start doing the April ones. Barbie needs an extra applause. She's like in the rain over there. Barbie, you can do whatever you want. You can write wherever you want over here. So just grab a pen and write what you want, because that's going to be a focus. Otherwise, the angels that are here might not get the message. So it's kind of like the best to do it. And then we have creative guru. Ooh, I thought I had it and then it just like flipped. I'm not looking at it. So you have 2. You have harmony and responsibility. So I don't know, do you have a family? It kind of like looks like everybody's like up to the ear, but it's just like everybody's having a cup and a bigger and bigger. So it's almost like that you'll be helping the weaker and kind of like giving them emotional support, and it's going to kind of like really feel that the circle is closing and there is like this good vibration. And responsibility, you are kind of like taking that you're a Scorpio, right? Responsibility, it feels like you really want to create some kind of like step forward. So I just finished Scorpio in the morning, and it was something along those lines that you're feeling that your world is like so powerful right now. So it's awesome. Lynn, bonjour, ma chérie. So birth, and so there is like openness to the new ideas. It cannot be the same old. Just keep this in mind, that there will be things presented to you. So it is time to let go of some concepts or some ideas or some people and start with a new thing. And Kylie, this one, truth. And it's not with the mirror, and this one also wanted to birth as well. Truth and birth. Is it like, that you simply need to talk to somebody about something? Voice it. I really like it's eye to eye kind of like contact. Maybe you need to say what is on your mind, and you need to kind of like start moving forward. Maybe you really want to go in a positive direction. That was basically the Sagittarius kind of thing, that you'll have to do the monthly, that you'll have to kind of like reach the decision for this fork in the road, right? So this is really interesting over here as well. And Crystal Smith, good morning. You're having strength. Oh, look at this, hugging the tree. I'm known to do that, not because I'm a tree hugger, but simply when you do that, especially evergreen tree, like the energy, it just like goes through you. It's almost like blood transfusion. It feels amazing. Give it a try, and don't care about what other people say. Then I have Angel Fishy here. Angel, you're getting 2. Flexibility and surrender. how do I push this together, or does it even make sense to kind of be together? This is capitulation of some sort. I don't know. I guess it talks about that maybe you have been feeling very rigid about somebody or some situation. It is telling you, you make a room, you'll make a lots of room, even maybe like, I mean, entire, look at this, is almost like 360 if you really think about it, kind of like a turnaround in a situation, and maybe kind of like conform to their will or something, but you will do that gladly, and it's going to be sort of like a self-interest. Kelsey, I don't know if you're still here. You're getting commitment, and I guess clearly you said you cannot be here. There are something things to do and awakening. So it is kind of like also a new beginning, and it's there is a certain joy I can see over here as well. Chris, the only guy here. We need more guys getting us a little bit things. So let's see. Tenderness. There is like a black kitty cat. It's a love for the animals. It's just like generally kindness. This could be your Scorpio friend, right? Because they are all in this kind of like mystical things. You need to update us. How is everything going? When people are quiet, that means this is something really, really good happening. And did I do everybody here? Did I forget anybody? Lorna H. Lorna H. Lift your hand if you're forgotten. Commitment of some sort. I don't know. Do you need to finish certain things? There's like something asking for you to really look into seriously. I kind of like deal with that. Sally. You're getting two, enthusiasm and exploration. So you're looking at something that is long-term goal. I guess you're back to Florida. Maybe that's what it means. And it's kind of weird. This is like a winter, and this is kind of like a summer of a thing. So there's like a certain cycle of life that I see here. You're eyeing, like maybe you're really looking forward to the summer of some sort, and looking forward also to some kind of like long-term goals that you're setting up for yourself. And oh, look at Sally just said my son's doctor recommended Johnson & Johnson. That's the old-fashioned vaccine as well. Did I, Kathy Cepas, we have communication. So it's really interesting. I think we have the masks over here, and oh no, these are the phones. They're not masks, but I guess you can see how astigmatism can actually boost your creativity over here. So you're going to be a busy bee, so be careful what you say. We are still away from Mercury retrograde, but kind of like it means there's going to be a lots of maybe broken telephone from kind of like what I see over here. Joanna Maria Carey. And this is, we have more people today, and we have wisdom, and it's kind of like a hermit card over here. You kind of like, if you're seeking some kind of answers or solutions, they will come from inside, and this is the best advice to follow. And then charter, you have efficiency, just like me. You're buried under the whole bunch of work, so you need to start thinking. Oh my gosh, Barbie, I kind of like wrote every single task I need to do, and how on my Rocket book I have different kind of like options I can send. Barbie is on one of those options because I sent her this timestamp, and she got all my freaking chore list and said, oh, I'm so sorry. That was really, really weird. And let's see, I think we now have everybody unless somebody joined here. And there it is. Second J&J vaccine sites closed down here to do adversary. Ew, what the heck? What is going on? I'm really afraid of Pfizer and Moderna because it can have autoimmune issues and Alzheimer's premature onset. So it's kind of like it saves you now and creates problem later. So what the heck to do then? All right, let's go. Second part. Oh no, do we have the doors? Barbie didn't slam her fist down. Come on, what's going on here? I'm going to just block it until I shuffle. Where is this? Okay, guys, ask for a question. Ask for your question. And I better put a timestamp on it because otherwise I would not know where it is. 49:55. Okay, think about the question that you want. We are going to have the same thing happening a little bit later, but you will have to ask a different question and not the follow-up question. Very different question, okay? So, oh yeah, creative girl, like you're like confused. I don't know if you guys follow Russell Brand. He had a really interesting take on all of that. So we have one, the left door is out. Then we have the middle, and then we have the right door. Okay, so let me show you what I have. So who chose what, guys? I wanted to choose, but then all of them showed their faces, and I could in the end, right? So Charter, they publish only 1% report on a weekly basis. Imagine only 1% of people report. Not everybody knows about yellow card. Oh, you know, I have friends that are doctors, and all of them got Pfizer's vaccines, all of them. And even though they had choices, and they're really, really happy with their choices. In fact, very, very good friend of mine, she's a psychiatrist, she said, you know, getting vaccines kind of like almost every year would be ideal because you're always training your body to, it's almost like gym for health, where you rip the muscle and you rebuild the muscle. So she says vaccines do that, but you know, I'm not really crazy about this logic. But I have to admit that, you know, I'm not a medical doctor, and I have to go and trust. You have to start trusting people somewhere, right? What to do this. So there you go. Except, like, I mean, there's 2 doses, and that's another thing that messed up in Canada. If you get Moderna or Pfizer, I think we're the only country in the world where they're saying it's going to be 16 weeks in between the vaccines, the booster shots, and that's why J&J vaccine kind of like gives you 1 dose. I saw Rachel Maddow last night. She said she got her Johnson & Johnson. So the door, left door, guys, this is a yes. There's like something that you feel that you want to get. Maybe there's a woman who needs to kind of like create this accomplishment of this wish, or this is you kind of like that need to kind of like push things forward. In any case, it's going to be a resounding yes of a sort. Maybe you will need to kiss the ring a little bit to kind of like accomplish it. Maybe the accomplishment of it depends on a woman, but you're simply going to be considered kind of like inner circle, and it's going to be a very positive outcome, right? Well, Chris, this is exactly what I think, because everything that I read, and I advise everybody to check Wired article about vaccines, where they're talking about this woman who came up with this mRNA technology, how she was considered not to be a faculty material and pretty much demoted, and now like biotech is possibly the brand name in the world. But also when you contrast this, and that's what they're not telling you, and I have allergies, and allergies don't have to react right away, and that's what Rachel Maddow was talking last night, that they kept her 30 minutes to see if she's going to have anaphylactic shock. But people have these blood clots later, and then there is this possibility of a whole bunch of autoimmune diseases, because when they apparently switch that delivery to kind of like fake it, that it's not going to kill you, well, you know, it can take any of the paths. But on the other hand, like, technology is like so good that they can deliver it to cancer, and you can buy this technology somewhere. I saw it to kind of like really repair your DNA as well. So I guess it's a little bit of Frankenstein kind of work. Well, whoever thought about door number 2, there is like some kind of like sitting on a decision, and emotional solution is not the same as kind of like analytical solution. So you get to be very torn in between, kind of like two ends of a sword. So you might be a little bit in a limbo, at least for a week, right? And the door number 3, it tells you that even if this happens, and it might happen, but it will happen in a, like, not in a way that is productive, because look at this, 2 of them are against the world. And I don't know if you're hoping for somebody to leave a relationship or something they're in. Be really careful what you wish for. It can kind of like be a long trip ahead. And I would say the best is not at the time force this wish, because it is currently not kind of like universally or by universe protected, and you might be like be left to fend for yourself, which is not the best way to go about that, right? So creative guru says the issue for me is the unknown. Oh, no, so that's Chris. All I have to know about the vaccine is they are not tested and were approved for emergency. That's my problem, because before I became, before I finished my social psychology degree, I worked in marketing, as many of you know. And what you don't know is that I worked in marketing for printing company that was actually doing the medical packaging. And in my hands, literally, I had sort of like these placebo tests. So I would have the code, not the company, and sort of like I would know who got what, who got placebo, who got the real thing, and then I would have to marry it later. But I also seen how they do it. So for example, they would test it for about 20 different kind of like things, allergies, I don't know, rash, you name it, right? So let's say out of the 20 things, they would get 17 negative, like this is extreme example, and 3 positive. They would market this, oh, look at how positive is on these 3 things. And this is where I start being very, very about kind of like medications, because it's what you see is okay, but what you don't see is more important. Like, I mean, they start to be more important to me. So I absolutely understand what you're talking about, creative guru. I would love to wait, but like, I mean, we had like 1,000 cases somewhere in January when we did have a spike. Then we had 3,000 in March when they start having this shutdown and lockdowns. Then yesterday was like 4,000 something, and today is like 9,000. So it's exponential growth, and it will be horrible if I get with this heavy duty kind of things. So we'll see. So as soon as lockdown is lifted, 12 April in UK, vaccine won't be. Aren't you guys reaching herd immunity? That's what I read this morning. That's kind of like it's the first country that is getting there. I mean, we are locked down since November, and people are just at the wits' ends over here, right? So Heidi also got J&J. I'm a teacher and returning to the classroom in a few weeks, 58 and high risk. I was sick the following day, headache and nausea, but fine, because I read this one also has the least side effects as well. Oh, there are kinder spirits here as well. It's so cute. You like Scorpios, Chris? That's awesome. Reservation is always very good. Kelly, like yourself, I have asthma and allergies. I vary of the 2 vaccines. We have a choice of here. We have 2. We now have 3 AstraZeneca. It's kind of like weird. 55 and up, you can kind of like register only because they are kind of expiring and they have the. It's kind of weird. They're like AstraZeneca says you can have blood clots if you are under 55, but if you're over 55 you might not, but if you're over 65 we don't recommend. So what is this, like 55 to 65, they're like test subjects? It's really weird. It looks like it's a massive experiment over here, right? So Aquarians, let's see what we are going to get. You see, it's kind of like amazing. You wanted this vaccine, and now when we have it, like, we are really hesitant, and rightfully so, right? And I think majority of the cases it's not going to happen, but I'm always taking into account, am I going to be a lucky one? I just don't want to really take this chance, right? So so you have Kylie, you have J&J and Pfizer. We have so far Pfizer and Moderna, and they just start introducing AstraZeneca. And I think the end of April, J&J is coming, and it's weird. Canada is asking for permission to make vaccine for poor countries. How about for us? We completely depend on Americans, and Americans are putting themselves first, as they should be. So we don't get the proper flow of what we need to get. So it's a bloody mess. It's a bloody mess. Aquarians, we are getting a whole bunch of stuff here. So, oh my gosh, the Hierophant also. Then we have a Knight of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and then Eight of Cups reversed over here. Interestingly, the Hierophant, I think that something is really building up over here. Did we kind of like it almost like tells me that it has been some conscious shift or choice, or simply kind of like understanding tried and true kind of like methodology in our heads, because Knight of Swords is really telling me about rush toward your goals. The time is now. Literally, like, should be a big sign on every fridge and every mirror that you have in the room, where in the place, that you can kind of like remind yourself as many times as possible, right? It's kind of like really interesting. The little detail that for some reason I noticed is the watch that he has on his right arm, not on the left. So he's clearly left-handed, meaning kind of like there is like certain kind of like level of creativity of a sort, but he is following the guide. Like, like in the Matrix movie, kind of like follow the white rabbit. That's kind of like what this reminded me of. Even though the system is in place, there's like still room for something that needs to happen. And then it has to be curated with this Page of Pentacles, because Page of Pentacles kind of moves very slow, but it's a really good building kind of like force. And we have like two Earth showing up, which really talks about grounding, which feels about enjoyment of a sort. And it's clearly exploration of some sort. Eight of Cups is about walking away, but it's reversed for us. It's kind of coming back to some issues. So we need to come and revisit certain things. We need to kind of like redo certain things. So it's kind of going away, reaching out, and then coming back to reestablish it, to fix it. This is also very good for the long-term goals, right? Earth is always good when it's upright, and it kind of like we go in a kind of like long direction. It's kind of like looks like emotionally we kind of like checked out. Eight of Cups generally can talk about if it's. Can you hear Safi? This means she's annoyed and she's bored and she wants me to come and play with her. Come, Safi, come over here instead. So here it's kind of like really interesting, because I see a certain level of revival. Because if you really add everything, it's adding to 13, which is Death card, and that card is I cannot even determine if it's going to be up or down. So if we feel angry or frustrated or annoyed of, and she's Aquarius too, right? Then we really need to find a positive outlet for this. And whether this is activity, could be exercise, or is it some kind of like rebalancing or reshuffling things. And maybe this also card to me always connects with a spring cleaning. So there is maybe something that we are getting more realistic about, and we are more kind of like eager to do it. So it's just saying, okay, the time is now. Just don't fuss around it. Just go ahead and kind of like finish your homework, kind of a thing. So, oh, Charter is Aquarius as well. Cute. I guess they hear another cat, and that's kind of like really, really cute. So, Aqua people, we are done. Aqua people, let me have a sip of coffee. Zeneca, Charter, what means Zeneca? Zeneca, AstraZeneca is vaccination. We have 3 or 4 vaccinations, I think. We have Pfizer, Biotech, I think, or is it Moderna Biotech? Pfizer and Moderna, and Biotech is kind of coupled with one of them. I think it's Moderna, actually. And then we have Johnson & Johnson, and we have AstraZeneca vaccine. Yeah, cats really made it. Next life, I want to be a cat, and rich person's cat, and possibly Sammy's cat, because even on a bad day, you look freaking great, right? And everybody is just a little servant. Now we have a Leo. Hello, and nice to see you here. And let's see, Leo, Leo, Leo. Well, we have the wheel. There is like a feeling of positivity, and this one wants to come out. The Chariot, and this one wants to come out, and that is Six of Pentacles. This is absolutely lovely. There is like certain sense of liberty and certain sense of. Oh, did I put? Didn't put the timestamp. Let's see, Leo. There's a certain sense of freedom that you really want to experience. Like, oh my gosh, look at this. It is just kind of like you're on top of the world, and everything is kind of like going in your direction. Like you literally can name it, and things will really happen for you. You may be getting a completely new sets of goals that are propelling you forward. Oh my gosh, look at how amazing this really is. It's almost like a train that is kind of like being propelled. I don't know why Snowpiercer came to mind. This has nothing to do with Snowpiercer, but it's kind of like that perpetual motion and something that is pushing us in a direction of his will. So he's bending everything to his will. And Six of Pentacles is about the give and take that really needs to happen. And this is like a little bit deviation from the regular theme, because we do see infinity sign, which generally doesn't happen, which means that you need to give and you need to receive, and it's kind of like mutual. So whatever it is, guys, if you are a giver, then this week you will need to receive, and if you're a receiver, you need to give, or even both in some kind of like occasions. It's kind of really interesting. The wheel is a karma card, and you have like a two major arcanas. It's going to be a big shift in this week, which is kind of, this also can be a charity of some sort, either volunteering or contributing with the money, or contributing with different kind of like elements that you have. I don't know if you can see it. They're just simply different sacral geometry kind of like aspects over here, which is simply kind of like a coding in us. I think the middle card, the Chariot, is clearly telling us that you're forging ahead. There's like some razor sharp clarity, mind, and goals that you're setting for yourself, and you're not stepping on others while doing that, right? Even though hey, look who's here, look who's here. Somebody finally decided that, hey, you know, if Muhammad is not coming to the mountain is going to come over here. But she's thinking if she wants to jump. Oh, she just walked away. She heard me. Come on, Jeffy, come on. You want to come with us? You want? I'm just doing Leo. Do you want to come and join us? I'm doing little Leo over here, and you're like mini little lion. Do you want to come and join us? Let's see how much talking into would work. 3, 2, 1. Hoppy, hoppy, hop hop. Yes, yes, you are bringing luck to Leos, aren't you, little furball? So Leo's really positive week, really kind of like almost like from every sign that I saw so far, you'll be the leader, but sort of like you're setting some new projects, new establishments, and sort of like you are really, really forging ahead in a new direction. What's up, princess? What's up? Kiss, kiss? She hates when I kiss her, just like goes, ugh, yuck. Right? Yes. So let's see. Chris, my mother passed in July at 96. I communicated with her through a medium in January. She told me to take elderberry extract and go forward without fear for what is worth. It's weird because I'm taking elderberry extract, elderberry juice, actually. This is something that in Croatia we drink like a drink. It's elderberry, actually flowers. You can even collect them. They're like everywhere in the forests, and make a tea out of them. So it's really, really good. So you're not exposing yourself. It's really good. It's really good for kind of like breathing things. And how I healed my asthma is my what do you call it, nutritionist said that I need to eat asparagus and horseradish. So initially I did, but then I just switched to horseradish with everything, and as you notice, it stopped coughing, which is really important. So creative. The feral cat we brought in is staying to play with one of our other cats. So cute. She's not sure about being downstairs, but she came down for the last 2 days to look around. Well, you know, it's different. Like, I mean, do I really want to stay in this castle, or should I do that kind of like they adopt you? That's so amazing. I've been very about elderberry since they came out and said something in the beginning of COVID about this possibly making cytoxins worse. I don't know if elderberry, I guess extract is much stronger than what I take, but it's really, yeah, it's good thing to watch like, I mean, interactions as well, but we'll see. Happy Caturday, everyone. Hello, never never, interesting name. So let's see who is next. Who is next? It's Taurus. Taurus's birthdays are coming up in 9 days. So the next week's reading is going to be both Aries and Taurus. And happy birthday to all Arises again. So you're getting 6 of Wands. You're going into this celebration and victory. You'll be in the limelight. It's kind of like something that you feel absolutely accepted. It's kind of weird. Kind of like, it's almost like the outside world is not mirroring the inside world. And this is your ruler, Venus, over here in the Empress, the last. Oh my gosh, absolutely love this deck. It's like really, really energizing me. So there is like all adding to 11. There is like a justice of some sort, and something is coming to fruition. This can be mother and daughter of a sort, or it can kind of like talk about some secret project or something happening in secret that is maybe needing to come out to the surface and completely be released. The Empress is about nourishment of a sort and self-nourishment very much as well, but as well as kind of like communication with the children and kind of like a growth. But it's also having this Libra and Taurus principle, which is interesting that we see that right here, where like if you added 6 and 2 and 3, it's 11, which is also Justice card, which also belongs to Libra, which is also ruled by Venus. So there is like going to be a sense of beauty. I don't know if you guys will be beautifying your home, painting something, but you're going to also go through really deep processing. This also could mean this could be your tarot reader, that could be a counselor, psychologist, or a mentor of some sort, because maybe this is something you crave to achieve, but once when you get there, it's kind of like a different level. It's kind of like the energy that you need to kind of like really govern in a sense, and so kind of processing this is very important. It's interesting that we have the moon principle over here, so it's going to be very emotional journey, and this actually can talk about the cycle of birth. And I really like it because you kind of like to have your hands on the ground, so it could be some kind of gardening, spending time outdoors for sure. It's going to be very, very prominent over there. And of course I didn't put the stamp, so I'm going to guess it over here, and we will see what happens with a big question mark over here. So now we have Libra, Capricorn, and Scorpio left. So let's see which one goes there. Taurus rising. Never know how much credence to give to the rising sign reading. You know, some people, astrologers, say that, and I really don't like my rising sign. I don't like Libra. Sorry, this came out wrong. I don't like Libra for me because Aquarius is so determined. It's so like, I want to do this. Then Libra is always making me question my own decisions, and this is kind of like where it is. But I can see lots of Libra happening in my life, and a sense of justice as well. So some astrologers would say it's the most important thing. It's kind of like what we communicate toward the world versus our sun sign is basically a potential of what we are supposed to be, where the moon sign is our emotional potential. So I guess, you know, you have to take all of them and just like make it a mush that kind of like really works for you, and that's going to be very, very important, right? So Guys, also just to tell you, all my medical friends are also taking huge doses of D vitamin, like a 5,000 a day, and D and zinc. And you have to take a really good zinc, otherwise it makes you nauseous. And that's what they're doing in addition to their multi every day. And so far, none of them caught anything, and they're working in hospital situation, all of them. Capricorn, you are next. Capricorn. 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 Capricorn, Libra is coming. Capricorn, you also have Six of Wands, but you also have a Three of Cups. So it's kind of like feeling a sense of victory, but I don't know, there's like also some kind of like friendship. Ooh, and it's a Four of Cups. Maybe you're questioning some kind of friendship, maybe even questioning a relationship over here, because look at this rendition of Four of Cups. There's like something so special happening over here in this cup. It's kind of weird. It doesn't have the same texture as the other cards. It's rough versus everything else is smooth. So it's all adding to 13. It's Scorpio. Clearly it is coming through. So Chris, your energy, your angels are communicating something to you. It is all upright, so it's positive. It's some kind of transformation. Something has to move forward, and some things have to be left behind of some sort. It's kind of like starting, I guess, with sexuality, or with some kind of like recognition, or with some kind of accomplishment. Somebody is the center of attention over here. It's really interesting to me that in these two cards we have all the characters turning their back to us. So they are looking up. They're all looking up. Like we see here, what is this called in English? We call it the big wheel or something. This is basically the North Star. You're kind of like really looking in your pathway, and there is like a support that is really, really happening over here. It almost looks like this middle woman could be this one over here, right? So there is like almost like sometimes a saying that you need to ask your friends what they think about your relationship, because they will be able to tell you 100% if this is going to work or it's not going to work. That kind of like, this is usually one of those litmus tests, because here it's really interesting because she's looking at them almost like with being lost, whatever she's doing, and hence missing on something extremely important. Four of Cups can talk about us not being happy where we are, or feeling that we deserve better. And it's really warning us that while we are caught in that negative state of mind, that we are missing amazing opportunities. So that's interesting, because everything adds to 13, and 1 in 3 is 4. So this is kind of like vibration of, see, this is a growth, and this growth worked because she was nourishing this growth. But this one is super duper kind of like extra special. It almost looks like, yes, these are hands. This is kind of like being brought to her, and she is just, she has lots of bumps on her. She looks like she tripped over, she fell. And this means that maybe sometimes we are really cautious about going in a new direction based on our past bad experiences. And it's just basically saying you kind of like need to take a chance. You need to kind of like see that something possibly very special is happening over here. So that's really important, right? So Chris, my ex-wife told me, Chris, you're a stubborn, stubborn man. Well, isn't this every ex telling us the same thing? And it's kind of like when they don't get what they want, right? It's just like, I'm sorry, but Chris, ask any of these fixed signs over here. You cannot out-stubborn fixed sign, that's for sure. Creative Guru said, I mentioned this before, but I feel more aligned now with my sidereal astrology sign. So that's something to look at also. You see, it's weird. I don't. I mean, I'm a Virgo ascendant over there. Actually, I have lots of Virgo even in this one. And anything that I read over there, it just doesn't work. I even got a reading with, what is his name? I forgot. KSMSR or something. Astrology or something. He's really good. And the reading was really, really good. But like, and again, left me completely unmotivated for some reason. So I don't know. Generally, astrology is not, as you know, I have my own interpretation of astrology, so I kind of like merge everything there, and it's possibly not, like as I said, I always stress I'm not the astrologer. So now, oh, Scorpio. Scorpio, I made your tag a little short. Does it mean I have to make completely new sets of tags? Let's see. I'm going to have a little bit less weight in all of this because I don't want to put a sticky on it. All right. Ooh, Capricorn. I didn't put the Capricorn over here either, so it's going to be also with a question mark. And let's put the Scorpio here. And let's start. Scorpio. Scorpio. Ooh, thank you, Chris. Astrology is very general. Well, it's not general when it comes to your own constellation. So you guys who had a reading with me, you know that when you have the bigger reading, I usually pull your astrological profile and I look at certain things. And I really like to listen to rather obscure astrologers who basically stumble in English and come from Europe, because it's kind of weird for these people, kind of like, I mean, on the south of Ecuador, because astrology was never meant for them. So that's right away tells you that something is odd with the whole freaking thing, right? But I also kind of like have some really negative aspects in my chart, and it's like, what? So I have to kind of live with this kind of a thing. What do I do? So I'm kind of like interested in listening to people who are really talking about why this is and what can be done in order to kind of like push things forward. Okay, Scorpio. So you have Ten of Swords, and then you have, who had it? Was it Sagittarius that had something similar? Page of Wands and Nine of Wands. So pages are very similar to aces in the energy and exuberance, except the Ace of Wands talks about repeating something from the past or reinviting the person from the past. It almost looks to me that you kind of like walk away from something and reestablishing kind of like this energy. It could be that Ten of Swords is really weird. It's kind of like, it's almost like feeling like betrayal, but not in this deck. She is kind of like guided in a new direction. And that's pretty much the message of Ten of Swords anyway. Kind of like, you need to keep moving. Like, because literally anything is a positive from being on the rock bottom, right? So this is kind of like you dust yourself off, but you're getting into the next level of energy, and it almost looks like you are taking this like big chunks. You kind of like really want to take a bull by its horns kind of a thing, and it's really really important to know. It's adding to 19, which is the Sun card, and it's also talking about this new beginning. That's kind of like what I saw in your monthly reading, that there is like some kind of hurdle that has been overcome, and now it is a time to really trust and really believe. Nine of Wands is a little bit tricky over here, because Nine of Wands, it's a clearly barrier, right, of a sword. Nine of Wands indicates there are like kind of like final touches on a situation, and final touches usually indicate that you're giving just like one more shot at something. So maybe it was a back and forth of some kind of like things. Interestingly enough, this is all in action kind of like mode, thinking and action. And thinking is like, you kind of like, you really have a good grasp of kind of like big decisions. So it was like something that either prompt you to move away from maybe dealing with a certain issue a certain way, or even from a person, and then that allow you to have this space for this energy, for this expression. But what I'm seeing as a negative over here is that you want too much too soon, and it's kind of like it's a big demand, but like usually that shows a huge power. So you're showing a huge power in the upcoming week, my dear Scorpio. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And in Yogi, I learned constellational astrology. Do you know there's something like geographic astrology, and according to that I live in a really, really wrong place, and it's kind of really interesting, kind of like how that showed. So my astrology teacher looked at constellations on the points and helped on that people develop their personal myth. Interesting. And then I guess the last one is my ascendant and my master moderator Barbie Libra over here. Hello Nadine, there is a Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, and I'm moving forward slowly to distance and feeling good about it. You know, slow is good. You get to see them in good times and in bad times, and you really kind of like start comprehending everything, right? And it's kind of like more organic, I would say. And it's kind of like what many of us kind of like miss, right? So this should be help people develop personal myth. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. Libra. Oh my gosh, Libra. Libra, you are getting freaking monthly reading over here. So these didn't turn, so I'm not taking this. So what do you have? You have the Magician. You see, you're ready to be the last, but your angels were like, no, you have to say this, you have to say this, you have to say this. Oh my goodness. So the Magicians, the three majors, the Magicians, the Emperor, and Strength. But you also have Three of Wands, Six of Wands, and Three of Cups. Like we just kind of like finished this, right? With Capricorn over here. So you might guys be dealing with fire signs or with air signs over here. There is like, I mean, unbelievable potential over here. Libra, honestly, I would not sleep for the next 7 days. I don't know if you're dealing with Aries or you're kind of like playing some kind of chess game with somebody. You totally are not doing, putting the all cards on the table. You are simply taking one step at a time and strategically kind of winning. Like, you know, like this old sales techniques when they said, what was like Hoover, I think, sales techniques, you need to get people to say 6 yeses in a row, and then they'll be just like a little dog just repeating yeses from that point on, right? So it's kind of a conditioning. There's like something extremely positive there. All cards are uprights to start, right? So let me see, 4 and 5 and 8, it's kind of interesting. It's ending up to 13 and it's a 4. So this is a theme of a week that we kind of have a shift. We are leaving certain things behind. Certain things have to die, and that can be a good thing. And at the same time, it's a positive. We are starting to move forward. There is a next phase. In your case, this next phase, you're like being literally in the spotlight. You are being it person, it woman, it man. You can move mountains, you can create things. People are coming to you as a solution maker, right? You have some support from your friends, from your coworkers, from the people. It could be different people showing up in your life. The Emperor, it's interesting. The Magician would be kind of like a natural fit for you, and that's kind of like I see here, really being intrigued with somebody. Could be a Gemini, right? This is a Mercury over here that we see, and this kind of like really gives you this energy of, oh my gosh, like, I mean, this feels good, it's flowing, and we are communicating. But ultimately, I think you're going to realize with this person, this is more or less a friend zone, and it's going to go quick, so quick freaking this month. And then it could be somebody showing up who is pretty serious about kind of like things moving forward. You might find the Emperor, it's the opposite of your sign, right? So there is a tension up in the air, right? There is like the thing like, I mean, you complete me, which always talks about certain things that you need to work on in your life. So this person could be a little bit withdrawn, or maybe a little bit too dry, but hence you bring your sociability, you bring your little kind of like butterfly situation in this kind of like concept in order to kind of like build it forward. If you guys are already dating, that could actually go to the next phase of something is really happening. Something is, maybe you're proposing, maybe you're really talking about. It's interestingly that she has this like half human, half lamb face, and there is a lamp over here. So there is a complete understanding when you need to pull, when you need to push, and that's why I always connect this card. It's not traditionally commitment, it will be more Hierophant, but I always see that as a commitment. So it is a really good going, Libra, over here. Open up to all opportunities. That can be the boss of a sort. It can be somebody who is a source of, let's say, happiness or success for you. So this doesn't have to be one person. It can be government. It could be something that you're expecting from institution, from a person, or simply a goal that you have placed for yourself. But it's also denoting that this is kind of like something that's going to last for the next 9 days, as long as we are in the Aries transit. In fact, kind of like, as I said, I wouldn't sleep for the next 7 days or the next 9 days, because this is such an amazing combination, and I would just like breathe in every single minute of it and every single moment, because it's almost like you're positioned to succeed in everything you do, literally everything. It's not a matter of luck, so it's not so much about the lottery, but if you want sex, sex is going to be offered. If you need to come up with something creative, you're going to be considered, wow, you're a freaking guru, right? If you need the help of somebody, of a boss, or you like the person who kind of seem to be successful but reserved, well, they're going to really open up to you. They're going to feel, but you are really communicate, and that's because you're bringing the missing part to them and him or her, and vice versa. So this is really nice. Look at that Barbie. She helped me. I so appreciate this. Let me see this. I am going on Monday, guys, to see an orthopedic surgeon to see if my knee needs operation, and I really hope it doesn't. I really hope it kind of cleared in the meantime. All right, so you know what? I'm guys doing cards for you, and we are going to do the first. Okay, you want it from me? Okay, let's do it for me. Let's see what we see here. I see 9 of Pentacles, so I'll be probably productive. That's what I was doing the last week. I'm trying to edit my place. It's just like so much and so many. My dad threw away a box of tarot decks. I swear to you, it was like this big box of tarot decks that I didn't use it often. There's some of them that I use a lot, and I just usually put them with new decks to kind of like keep my energy, and he just freaking trashed it. I'm so pissed. So for me, it's going to be kind of like putting myself in a good space and feeling comfort with everything. So Yogi, Miss Canadian Yogi, you are getting death or rebirth. And let's see, this one also has infinity over here. The potentials are here, so you are at kind of like, this movie Inception. If you didn't watch it, I would watch it, because you are moving through dimensions over here, and you need to figure out what is no longer serving you and how to. This is literally a theme, and this is card showing up emphasizing that theme over here, right? Barbie. Ooh, you're getting Page of Swords. I thought it was a Fool. Look at that. It's simply not paying attention. You're going to be torn and kind of like, of course, with that Libra reading, you'll be torn in all directions with everybody, full of ideas, and these ideas are keeping you up and floating, and you're also trying to soak up the knowledge, and all while you're kind of like not even considering possibility of falling. It's just not there, and simply you're tiptoeing and finding the spot how to push things forward. It's amazing message over here. Creative guru. Ooh, you're getting the Hierophant. So it also can be commitment. It also can be like a decision has to be something tried and true. You have to figure out something that works for you, but something that is not out there, something that has been processed by the other people. Maybe you're going to look for advice of a sort. Maybe you're looking for promotion or for approval, and this is really all good time to do that. Lynn. Ooh, Lynn, you're getting 2. You're getting 9 of Cups, and you're getting 6 of Pentacles. So Lynn, somebody's coming through, somebody who is charming. Knight of Cups are literally the knight in the shining armor, And while this sounds good, cups are not sticking around. And this is really telling you here, look, make sure it's kind of like that infinity here. There's a give and take because they tend to overwhelm you. I met yesterday Knight of Cups. One guy was buying something off. He was like so charming. They overwhelm me with kind of like this emotional stuff. But you need to keep in mind it has to be this back and forth, and that as much as good to receive, that you need to give, because it looks like that you'll be overwhelmed with some goodness of some sort. So this is really, really good. So Kylie, you have Page of Wands and the Magician. So this is all about new beginning and new processes and enthusiasm, and almost like, to me, it's clearly this can also be a magician, kind of like a card. You can whip your stick and create this energy. So it's clearly asking you to steer things in order to create a greater amount of energy, and you don't need any preparation anymore, because the Magician is telling you you have everything that you need, girl, and you should just go forward, right? And kind of like enjoy it. Chris, Darian, Chris, you're also getting freaking reading here. So you have the Hangman, you're having Nine of Wands, you have Ace of Pentacles, and then you have a Nine of Cups. Why do I have a Nine of Cups over here? So that's a suspension of a sword that can tell you, well, you know, I like where this is going. I think I'm doing sacrifices, but I'm doing sacrifices with a reason, right? So this is kind of like the Neptune energy over here. Then the Nine of Wands is, there is a certain passion and communication, but it doesn't have a staying power. But at least you're not in this kind of like conundrum. And this is really interesting because this talks about putting roots, something new is happening, something that can grow, right? However, Nine of Cups can have many meanings, from extreme happiness and joy. Oh my gosh, I don't know why they're showing this with gold, but it's just not enough to have this bucket. It has some more. But Nine of Cups generally talks about actually all of these cards, and I guess this is kind of like showing because you have the distance with this person. So financially, you're going to have a really wonderful week. You're going to be very happy. I think you have and you don't have to admit it, like, I mean, publicly, you having a sexting of some sort. Knight of Wands is kind of like showing this kind of passionate aspect, but at the same time there is a frustration. So Nine of Cups is about self-satisfaction of some sort. Yep, exactly. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, for Chris as well over here. Okay, where is the list? Where is the list? Where is the list? Lorna. Sorry, something tickled. Lorna, you have the moon. And look at how lovely this moon is. It's almost like kind of like receiving this kind of like spiritual food. So it can be very I don't know what sign you are. It can be very creative participation of some sort, but it can be also time for disturbances and jealousy, and so everything is possible, right? Moon kind of like gives us this dream, you get lost, and kind of like, so if you need to have your eyeballs on the goal, then you kind of like have to steer yourself from being sidetracked too often. So it's very important. Sally, you have Queen of Pentacles. This is you. This is enjoying to be a wife, being put on the pedestal by yourself and by the others. Pretty much kind of like everybody come and kiss the ring kind of a card, right? And it's enjoyment, and usually I'm connecting Queen of Pentacles. She's also very pragmatic. She's connecting to the Empress the most in my mind, right? And look at this kind of like beautiful growth over here. Something is bubbling for you, and it's going to culminate toward the end of April. And Kathy, for some reason you are getting zillion messages. You're having Ace of Wands, you have the Lovers. Is it somebody from the past coming to your life? and you're not sure about them. That's why you have the Five of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, King of Swords, and then King of Cups. Okay, so if you're sitting at home and doing nothing, nothing will happen. But I see options over here. I see somebody from the past, almost like 3 or 4 people that might be coming to your life. You'll be very, very busy, very active. Some people will come to your life, and just as quickly as they came, they're going to come out, like kind of like revolving door kind of a thing. But then you will have, and I don't know if you're actively dating, you will have two very, very different guys happening over here. You have Knight of Swords, which is somebody who is kind of striking a conversation and very bubbly and kind of like very fair. It can have this Libra or air sign. And then you have a King of Cups, who is like very emotional, very understanding, kind of like going in this direction. So it's going to be a really tough choice, because absolutely everything other than Five of Swords is like about somebody who's trying to win and force win and trying to prove you wrong, and that person really needs to go. You've been wrong, but it's just kind of like maybe you're not on this level and you're kind of like making a choice to kind of like move forward. So that's kind of going to be very interesting. So there you go. Now let's see. You're welcome, everybody. So we are going to do the doors part 2. Wow, this was much longer. I thought, let's kind of like whip it out. Let's whip it up and I can get Tiger back. And it just turns out that I have to talk and I have to say everything that I see, and it cannot be any other way. So guys, I'm going to again put the icon up. So it must be a very different question from the one. Oops, that's me. That's not needed. Okay, so think of the question that you have and focus on telling universe, I want answer. Any answer. Don't try to indicate what you want. I mean, try to see how things you want to evolve and revolve. Okay, the number 2 and the door number 3. All right, so let's remove this. And my Easter cat, as I told you, like, I mean, it was just hilarious. I really, I don't have family here, so I just spent it with my friends. We did go out and we did actually eat in a drive-through. We have drive-throughs open, and so it was really nothing really special other than kind of like really hanging around with my self kind of like made family. And I told you it was this woman who actually is my neighbor. She's like she's a different category, her own category of crazy. And she released that video on Instagram where she was dancing pole, and honestly it reminded me of SNL's skit when it was Patrick Swayze and what's his name, Chris Farley, right? They were competing in dancing, and it was absolutely hilarious. It was not meant to be hilarious, so literally it was that story going around talking to each other everywhere. So it was but otherwise hard, and I was sleeping, so that's kind of like what it is. So if you picked door number 1, the answer is yes. You might need approval or agreeableness from some other people, or maybe there are a few people that are part of this process, and it's going to be quite easy accomplishment over here. Then if you pick door number 2, it's comme ci comme ça, maybe, maybe not kind of a thing. Things are still balancing up in the air. Things are really, really happening over here. So 2 of Pentacles can also drop the ball. So I would say nothing is really happening, not much change this week. And the door number 3 is yes. Something, and this can be a big question regarding the wills, regarding the harmony, regarding marriage, regarding commitment, regarding job. So this, you're going to kind of like be looked upon and seeked, and the answer here is yes. So there we go. We guys had a beautiful, at least I had a beautiful, I cannot speak, I shouldn't speak for everybody. I have the tendency to try to assume that everybody is kind of like going through the similar energy shifts that I'm going, which is kind of like really, really, really bad thing to assume. But I hope of a T-Rex pole dancing. Oh my God. I don't know, like, do I have it? I don't want to embarrass her more, but it's just like, you know, this is narcissism in motion. I have never seen, I mean, that I knew somebody personally so narcissistic. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't even want to play it on her thing. Oh my gosh.
Happy Easter, everyone. This is my dance for you. As you know, I'm getting back into my pole. So things aren't perfect, but I'm doing my best.
And
this is for you. And I'm wearing my special stilettos with little white dots.
little white
So
dot.
perfect for Easter.
So if you guys ever feel bad, just take a look at this video. Are you traumatized already? Nobody's talking. Okay, I don't want to go further, not to get into copyright issues, but needless to say, that was like a talk of the town, like kind of like over the weekend, and it's not fair. We shouldn't be judging people. I mean, she's really trying over here. It's just kind of like, it kind of puts things in perspective, kind of like that we need to be a little bit more kind of like tune in about who we are and how we kind of like relate to the other people and so on and so forth, you know what I mean. But at the time that happened, I was just basically in my gutter as everybody else, really oh my God, Chris. That's like what my neighbor said. Oh my gosh, he said, your building has a really good construction, and he said this is going to be like, because I'm in the floor up, how come she's not taking your floor down? It was just hilarious. So there we go, guys. I really enjoy our date, and well, anyway, it's just like, it's amusing to me that you install pole in your apartment. I mean, it's a very small apartment as it is. Mine is 2-bedroom. It's like just about 700-800 square feet, and hers is much smaller. But I guess, as Barb said, each to their own. That kind of like works. So thank you guys for joining me, and we are going to see next week. So now I'm talking, and I have white polka dots for you. It's just like, I don't know, is that kind of like how you talk to clients in the stripper club? It's just like, I never realized that you talk to people like that. But it's going to be a note from me that I have to be a little bit more kind of like understanding of how you perceive me, and it was a lesson. So thank you guys for being here. I love you. I'm going to post this right away, and I'm hoping to see you next week. I'm going to send a couple of months invite before, and then I'll see you soon. So here's some music, and you guys try to have the best week you can. Love you, love you, love you, and enjoy the rest of your day.